say, take a quick look at this thing on voting. You know what? Who are you voting for this year? Start questioning people. Put people's mind on it. If they say nothing, say why. Why not? Why would you do that? Did you know that?
April Fools.
Guys, I will see you in a couple weeks on For now, have a good Friday. I'm about to kill everybody in this room because people knew about this. Bye.
Simone, what's the matter?
I'm not responding. I'm not responding to you guys.
Did it have something with you being live and that whole happening? So we actually just finished the final show in this studio, and while Simone was live, we decided to play a prank on her, which you just saw her reaction. We do have it on video, but that hole in the wall happened while she was live.
Welcome everybody. Listen, I'm going to be honest right away. Today's one of those days. But if you've been experiencing Toronto weather, you know what I mean. It's rainy, it's gloomy, but I am here and I'm still going to deliver the best I can whenever I come here, which you know I do. Welcome guys to In the Now on my TCN TV network. So today, I will say this, it is going to be my last show. And I had a plan for the show this week, had a big idea of what I wanted to do, and you know what, it changed. And today I'm going to do a really small recap of some of my favorite parts of In the Now since I've been doing it. I actually started In the Now, was it December, Dave? December 15th was my very first day, so I'm not yet to a year. But you know what, it's been interesting, it's been hard, I won't lie to you. It's hard to find ways to deliver news and to provide stories, personal journeys, in a way that no one else has done it. But you know what? I think I may have been able to do it somewhat, and I'm happy that I've had the opportunity to. And for everyone who's viewed me, thank you very, very much. I also want to thank the people who are here supporting me. So we have Miss Anisha, my producer, who's making sure that she makes me look good on my angles. Do I have a good camera too today? Yeah. Wonderful. See? Just like that. It's wonderful. I swear it's wonderful. And of course, Mr. Dave Rankin, who just makes sure that I am okay, gets me my coffee. Makes me happy. So that last video, again, I was just explaining that everyone thought that was funny, but it was not. That was the very last show I did actually before this new studio came. You can actually find the entire clip. There's actually an entire, I think it's like 9 minutes or so that goes through the transformation of the studio, which is actually pretty cool. So check it out if you have a chance. And I've also had some other pretty good experiences. I'll drop one more so you guys can see one of my favorite ones. No, we can't? Okay, all right. So I'll be doing it soon. I'm told to keep going. So, let's see, what else has happened on In the Now that I can speak about? Oh, we've had some guests in here. We've had Lutan Faya, which we'll bring up. I'm going to actually bring up that clip in a little bit. Who else? Dave, who else have we had in here? Come through here since we started. Oh, yes, Anisha. What's the name of the producer for Spike Lee? Ian Harridan. Are you saying it right? Wow. All right, Ian Harnerain. Yes, he is one of Spike Lee's proteges, and he was here for the Toronto Film Festival. Was it the Caribbean section of it? Yes, right? Awesome. So we've had him. That was a good conversation. I didn't bring that video today. Anish, let me know when we're ready to start throwing some up. Okay. What else have we had on our show. A lot of news, a lot of the cyborg stuff. That was pretty cool. That's like maybe the third or fourth episode we talked about cyborgs and how pretty much AI is taking over everything. And you know what? Truth be told, there's now something on your computer, which I thought was interesting, that actually memorizes how you've typed. And now I will start a sentence and it will finish it for me. Kind of scary. Just as a little bit of an update on how AI is kind of taking over. It's nuts. What else have we talked about? Oh, lots on legalizing weed, which was actually 2 weeks ago. That was the most recent one. You know what? Interestingly enough, that could have gotten a little bit more views, and I'm going to actually send it out again to those who haven't seen it because it's an interesting video. I actually go through the provinces for everybody because I've heard questions after about this legalization, about what's legal, what's not legal, where is it legal across Canada, is it different? So I actually go through each step and go through the provinces and let you know the age, where you can do it, how you can do it, how many plants you can grow in your home. So I actually go through a detailed one. Any other shows, Dave? Do you have a favorite? Okay, Mark Studdard, yes. That was a huge one, actually. That was one of our highest views, was the interview with Mark Studdard. Great interview, great man. He actually followed up and did Here to Help You on the Tuesday for the 50th anniversary to the protest in Mexico at the Olympics. So that was actually interesting because we were able to pull some things. That was one of my favorite interviews up to date because we were able to get some information that, you know what, after for him, he was able to speak on it and say, you know what, Simone, people have come to me and said, look, we didn't know that about you, Mark. So again, this is why I've always enjoyed doing this show, is not just to present the news, but of course to give you a story, show you the stories of people in Toronto. So you know what? I'm going to wrap up this segment quickly and actually bring our guest on because her story, when I first heard it, I did an interview with her on Sunday last week. And actually, she's going to be featured as a woman empowered in the Toronto Caribbean newspaper for the next issue coming out November 14th. So look out for that. And when I heard her story, it was one of those things where, you know what, you have to stop and really take a look at yourself and say, wow, sometimes you've played the victim when someone has gone through so much worse. It's not that it's downplaying anything that I have gone through or that any of you guys have gone through out there, but definitely after hearing the story, I can say there's always worse. And the best thing about it is that it's a story that turned out beautifully. So definitely stay tuned. Again, Miss Anisha, can I play any video before I come off? No? Okay. Then don't worry. When we come back, we're going to have Miss Kim Thomas.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Oh, flood inside my house. Water come down. We can't move nothing. I lost everything I have. Clothes. I get to take off that in just a few please.
So I already warned my guests that I'm going to be stealing every bit of her energy today. I already warned her. So I would like to introduce for my very last show, and I couldn't be happier that I'm doing this, Miss Kim Thomas. I'd like to welcome you to In the Now on my TCN TV network. And I want to again thank you because, and I'm thanking you ahead of time because I don't think people understand exactly what you're about to share and why it's so important that I think people need to hear this. So, Kim, after our interview, I said, okay, how do I think I was even nervous to ask you. Because I'm like, how many times have you had to tell this story? Before we go into it, how many times have you told this story? And how does it feel each time you tell the story?
You know, I've shared the story a number of times on two different levels. You know, God has given me a platform to work with young people. And I remember when I was in the classroom and working with students that had struggles and issues with low self-esteem. And as you know, a lot of young people these days are facing anxiety and depression and many things like that. So I do believe that my story is one that God allowed, that God gave me, that I could use to help other people experience breakthrough. So I do share it quite a bit in conversation to encourage people. On larger platforms, I often have a chance to share my story when I speak publicly. So I've shared it, but in different ways and different platforms with different takeaways for the audience.
Okay, and for you, how is that every time you tell it? Because like for most people, sometimes when you retell a story, it'll bring back every single one of those emotions. For some people, they've deadened it, so it doesn't bring back any. What's your experience with the storytelling? Is it like where you'll feel some of these things sometimes, or is it just like, okay, I've dealt with it, I've said it so many times that it's kind of, now I'm telling it?
You know, it's interesting, Simone, that you asked that, because I think one of the things that I often say is that and you've probably heard this before, maybe Oprah has said it before, but that whole ideology about owning your story. And we all have a story, and we all have a past. And I think one of the takeaways for me is owning your story, but not necessarily staying there, and realizing that everything that has happened to us is what has brought us to where we are today, right? And we're all on a journey, right? We're all on a journey. And every time I'm able to share my story, it's a reminder of, and you know this too, Simone, is that it shows of God's goodness. And it reminds us of where we're coming from. And it also reminds us that all that glitters is not always gold. Because when you look at some people and you think, wow, you know, they look like they have it all together, or, you know, lucky them, there's always a story behind the glory.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm smiling because you hit it right on. So yes, we have time. Because I don't want to cut you in the middle of the story. We might have to, but there's certain parts I'd probably just let you keep speaking. Right. I would like for you to now share, for those who haven't seen it, which may be some of this, the In the Now audience, I would like for you to share your story with them, please.
Absolutely. So, Simone and I had a conversation on Sunday. We were talking about, I think she asked me the question, what makes you who you are? I think that's how it started.
Yes,
what makes you who you are?
Your journey.
And she had no clue about what I had gone through. And I said to Simone, I said, well, my platform and who I am today is because of the experience that I had in the past. And I talked about how I found beauty through brokenness. So just really quickly to share some of my story, what I shared with Simone is that brought me to where I am today was at 17 years old. I was in a near fatal car accident. And at that time, it was a traffic accident. A young man had broken a red light and hit my car broadside, and my car had gone in the intersection and out of the intersection into Chinguacousy Park, actually in Brampton, and landed on its roof. And it was the jaws of life had to come and get me out and whatnot. And I remember later on hearing that because I was upside down, I remember hearing that the paramedics that came to get me were shocked that I was still alive, because I had so many head injuries and I'd lost so much blood through my head. So I was rushed to Sunnybrook Hospital, trauma center, and I had a lot of head injuries. When my mom got to the emergency, they had said to my mom, they said, it's very unfortunate your daughter is like Humpty Dumpty. She is broken like head to toe. And I literally had a bone that was bones from head to toe that were broken. And they said to my mom, she's lost a lot of blood. She is in a coma state right now. And we're lucky if she makes it because of all the blood that I had lost. And I had a lot of lacerations, and a lot of cuts, and a lot of head injuries, and both broken bones. But the concern was the fact that I had lost a lot of blood and needed so many blood transfusions. I had taken a massive blow to my head, so I wasn't conscious. A lot of this was retold to me. So I had, just to kind of summarize how awful this was. I had massive head injuries. I had all my hair shaved off because there was a lot of glass from the car that had penetrated my skull. And I had a massive left eye injury where they had to fly a doctor in from Banff because my eyeball had actually come out. They were trying to save it. And I had over 250 lacerations to my face. And I'd broken my left arm and my leg and my rib cage and my collarbone. And because my lumbar, my lumbar bone was damaged, there was concerns about me having temporal paralysis. They were concerned if I'd ever walk again. And they were obviously concerned about brain damage, and they were concerned about blindness and things like that. It was a tough time, and just to fast forward, when I came to out of the when I came out of unconsciousness and I came to and I saw everybody there, and people weeping, I remember asking my mom. I said, "Why is everyone weeping?" Right? Because I didn't know. I just woke up and I saw a crowd of people who were weeping, and my mom said, "You know, you've been in this really bad car accident, but God saved your life." And she said, "You know, you're going to be better." You know, and many people said that. We all have, you know, that rock in your life that pushes you forward, who's your inspiration, who is that unshakable force. And for me, that was my mom. And I remember one day somebody coming into the room to look at me, and they passed out. And by looking at me, and I started to feel bad for other people instead of myself, because of that, how sad people were. So I asked the nurse, I said, you know, because I was still hooked up to a lot of IVs, I was still getting blood transfusions, and I was still very not well. And I asked the nurse, I said, "Can I see myself?" And she said, "No, you can't see yourself, Kim, because you're on suicide alert." She told me right out. Yeah. She said, "We don't want you to unplug anything, or we don't want you to take your life because of how bad this is." So, and we have psychiatrists and counselors and everyone ready to help you, but we don't want you to give up on life. So I was very almost alarmed to hear that, because I didn't know all of my my injuries.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there because this is good. So when we come back, Kim is going to complete this story, which you really need to hear because this is just the beginning. And then she's going to talk a little bit. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more time that I can get her to talk about how she is taking this story from brokenness to beauty. Beauty to brokenness. To me, I'm saying brokenness to beauty now.
That's what it is.
Right? Because, we'll go into it. See you guys in a few minutes. So actually, I had a video to come into that, but it's okay. We're gonna play it at the end, so no worries. Just remind me, okay, that at the end we do have something because it's actually about you. But I figured, that actually worked out that we played at the end. So, Kim, we had just started your story, and for those who are just joining us, I'm sitting here with Miss Kim Thomas, and she is sharing her story of brokenness to beauty. I said it right? Yes. Okay, beautiful. So we are not at the point where you have just regained consciousness. They've actually put you on suicide watch, and they won't let you look at yourself, which is alarming to you. People are passing out in front of you, which is just like traumatized. I'm sure almost traumatizing for you. So what happened next?
So, Simone, what happened next was I asked my mom if she could bring in a mirror so I could see myself. And that was the turning point, actually, because my mom brought in a mirror. And she said, Kim, I'm not going to hide this from you because this is part of your journey, and you're not stuck here. This is going to make you better. And it's interesting, right? Because you never know how much strength someone has until you go through adversity.
Sure.
Because I actually, as much as people say, would you do this again? And it's a tough question because it was tough, and I wouldn't wish this upon my own children. And as a mother myself right now, I can't imagine what it takes for mothers out there who do go through these tough times.
Yeah.
But they say God doesn't give you more than you can handle. So my mom brought the mirror in, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and it was a tipping point because my face couldn't fit in the mirror. It was too big, and I had no hair. All the bones on my face were broken. My nose was broken. My left orbital rim was broken, which is the bone that holds the eye. My cheekbones were smashed. And as you know, when you break an ankle or a wrist, it swells. So my face had swollen. It was massive. It was almost from shoulder to shoulder. And I just thought, my God, I looked at myself. I said, what is this? And I really had a low point. I had a low point because I thought, how on earth can I continue living looking like this? Because I looked awful, And imagine I had little tufts of hair because they shaved my hair really quickly to get the glass and the metal out of my head. So I had still chunks of hair with blood in it, and parts were shaved off, and I had this massive head, and I had an eye that was falling to the left, and I thought, this is awful,
Gosh,
And I thought, wow. And I learned a lot over the process about that question that we ask, why me, And over the years, it's a beautiful question of which I have an answer to. But why me? But God says to us, why not you? Why not you? And I learned that. Because we are greater than our circumstance.
Absolutely.
And I also want to say to those who are watching, when you're facing some kind of health issue or relationship breakdown or some kind of adversity, and you say, why me, why now? I want you to ask yourself, well, why not me? Because you have to ask God to give you the strength, but you also have to realize that God knows the end before the beginning. Absolutely. And you have to also realize that, when you ask yourself, why me? God says, why not you? Because he's picked you, because he's sovereign, and many of you have maybe experienced a loss of a loved one who maybe was in an accident like me but didn't make it, and you look and you say, Kim, you're very lucky you've made it out alive. But one thing I want to say, because we know there's a lot of sickness, and there's a lot of cancer, and there's a lot of sadness and depression, anxiety, a lot of people who are disenchanted, they're not walking in their purpose, and they see one family member who's doing better and they feel stuck. But we have to not stay stuck in our circumstance. We have to rise up. We can't stay stuck. We have to rise up. And we have to realize that at the end of the day, God is sovereign. and he knows the plan. And when we're able to relinquish our anxiety and our fears and let go and let God, something happens. And I'll tell you this. When I looked at myself and I thought it was the end of the world, I'm 17 years old, and it was like literally the end of the world. And my mom said, get it together, Kim. Stop. Stop crying. Like, stop saying bad things, because I was very angry. Like, I went from feeling sad for people, like feeling sad that I made everyone else sad. Yeah. And I was consoling a lot of people, like, don't worry, I'm going to get better. And then I got angry because I thought, well, look at me, look at how I look. And again, it's that thing about trying to ask God to show you the end before the beginning. Because that is something that will keep you holding on, is when you have vision. Yes. But if you stay stuck in the present, like, look at me now and how bad it is, as opposed to your vision. So, my mom said to me, she says, Kim, people can pray for you and do a million things for you till next week. But if you don't grab hold of this and hold on to your own faith and you believe yourself, then you will stay stuck. So she said, you have to believe. I can believe that you're going to be better, but until you start believing, then things won't happen. So anyway, it was interesting, and I think I sent this to you, Simone. We talked on the phone. I had a moment where I negotiated with God. I said, God, if you would be so kind to heal me and to dispatch your miracles upon my life, because I do believe God is a God of miracles. He is. And we've been hearing about miracles since the beginning of time, how God is a miraculous God. I feel sad for people that don't believe in God and his miraculous power. And I said, I would live a life of service. If you've already saved my life, but if you would heal me, which I believe you will, I promise that I will live a life of service, and I will give back, and I will share my story and help others experience breakthrough through their brokenness, whatever that brokenness looks like. Yeah. Because brokenness comes in all formats. Brokenness comes in very different formats. Broken relationships and brokenness amongst, your body, in your mind, and that I would use my story as a platform to help other people. So, for the sake of time, what ended up happening was I had to rest in that belief that God is sovereign, and whatever his plan was for me, I said, God, I surrender all. Whatever your plan is for me, you've saved my life, and I'm going to use my life to serve you, regardless of what the outcome is.
It's interesting. Oprah has said that too.
Yeah.
She talks about that story where she was just to kind of share, because that's the first thing that came to my mind. It was like, yeah, that's surrender. People find that difficult to do.
Right.
That surrendering part is very hard. She said when she surrendered, she got everything she wanted.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
Her role for The Color Purple, she tried out for it. Okay. She hadn't heard anything back. Months passed. She was at a fat camp, she said, and she was running. She was like, they didn't hire me because I'm fat. Right. And she started to sing I Surrender All.
Really?
And as she surrendered, within minutes, someone came and was like, oh, there's a call from Steven Spielberg, and she got the part. Wow. So it's interesting, that idea of surrender. How did you do that? How did you God, I have time. How did you surrender? Talk us through that process. Yeah. How did you surrender? How was that possible for you at that time, to just surrender everything and just say, God, I'm trusting you?
Well, that's exactly it, Simone. I think I just I had to, take my eyes off my circumstance. And I think that's a really good takeaway for us today, all of us today, is to not get fixated on our circumstance, and to look at the outcome and the breakthrough. And yeah, I was very young, and it's interesting that I was able to have that amount of wisdom to let go and to surrender. But you know what it is that you have to surrender, because when you're in these very vulnerable positions in life, and you're at the lowest point, what are you going to do?
What's your choice? It's true. You don't have any options.
So the good news is there's something powerful, and I had mentioned to you this before about our spoken word, and I think it's incumbent upon us to also realize that our words, the words that we speak to other people, and the words that we speak into our lives are very powerful. And I want to really encourage us to use our platform, use our voice, whatever it is that we've gone through, whatever your story is. Be aware and be cognizant of your words, the words that you speak over your life, the words that you speak over other people's life. And life is a very short lease of our entire existence. The life we live on earth is a very small segment of our being, because we are a soul housed in a physical body. And I get this question all the time at the gym, because I'm a gym rat. I'm in the gym like 5 or 6 times a week, right? That's good. And I love being in the gym. And I remember someone came up to me the other day and they saw me going real hard and they said, "What's your goal?" Right? Because I come every day, day after day, and they look at me like you've achieved everything you could possibly achieve as an athlete.
What else? Yeah.
What do you want? You're fit, you're this, you're vegan. Like, what do you want? And I said, here's the thing. I said to that person, I said, the goal is this. The goal is to develop a strong body that can house a beautiful soul. Because I said, don't get this twisted. I said, yeah, I like to work out, but I'm concerned about my character and my soul. I'm more concerned about you seeing who I am on the inside and being kind to people and having a very strong body, a very healthy body that can carry this beautiful soul.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful about our words.
Yes.
So I was aware of that, and I began to change my mindset. And and then miracles started to get dispatched.
Stop there. Okay. We're going to go into number 3. We're never going to have enough time. I wish I could say, don't worry, I'll just have you on next week.
I'll wrap it up. I'll do the ending part in a minute.
No minutes. Okay, come back, guys. Come back. We'll see you soon.
Hi, everyone. This is Kim, co-author of the exciting compilation book, Living Without Limitations, 30 Stories to Heal Your World. The authors have written some powerful stories that are life-changing and transformational. And the reason why I got involved with this project was I wanted to be a part of something that was going to move its readers, to touch them to the core. And I really believe that these stories are going to really make a change in your life. Through my chapter, which is called How I Found Strength and Beauty from Brokenness, I talk about a very near-fatal car accident that I was involved in. I go back to those moments where I felt despair and I felt hopelessness. But in a moment when I was able to realize that fear can be canceled out with faith, and I locked into that faith, things began to change. So we've all been through things, myself included, and I'm sure you have as well. But I really want to emphasize, as I share through my story, it's in that place of brokenness and adversity that you realize what you're going through is a chapter. And it might be a chapter of adversity or tribulations or pain, whatever it is. But you always know there's a next chapter. And thankfully, in my case, I went through some tough times, but I didn't stay there. I wasn't stuck. So I want to inspire you to realize that everything happens for a reason. And there's a purpose through your pain. And that when you're able to realize, you know what, I'm not in control, God's in control. And you let go and let God take full control. And when you have faith that something greater than you is going to step in and build you up, things can happen. It's a really great journey that I've been on, and I really want to share it with you. So get on board, go to the website, get a copy of this book, and see what all the writers were sharing. So if you go to the website, Living Without Limitations, 30 Stories to Heal Your World, you'll be able to get your copy and see the videos and be a part of this amazing project.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
If you only have 24 hours in a day, your success is dependent upon how you use the 24. You gotta hear me. People talk about Oprah Winfrey, Ted Turner, Warren Buffett. Listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. You only get 24 hours in a day. And the difference between Oprah and the person that's broke is Oprah uses her 24 hours wisely. That's That's it. Listen to me. That's it. You get 24. I don't care if you broke, you grew up broke. I don't care if you grew up rich. I don't care if you're in college, you're not in college. You only get 24 hours. And I blew up literally. I went from being a high school dropout to selling 6,000 books in less than 6 months. What happened? In my 24 hours. I was like, okay, Eric, you got to get a grip on your 24 hours because you're about to be broke for the rest of your life. And that's all I need you to do for me. I can tell you all about your life if you just write down your 24-hour schedule for me and you let me look at it. I can tell you where you're going to be in 5 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 10 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 20 years if you keep that schedule.
Welcome back, everybody. This has been like probably one of the most, I don't know, like I told her I was stealing her energy from the beginning, actually. So I'll just be real. That's exactly what I've been doing, just sitting back here, just soaking things up. Kim, I want to thank you again for coming in.
Thank you, Simone.
Honestly.
Thank
so
you.
If you are now just joining us, I'm going to say this. You definitely have to go back and look at segment 3 and segment 2, because this story, incredible. And we are just about to wrap it up. So if you're missing it, this part, you're probably just going to hear the great things and why Simone is as beautiful as she is right now, what she's gone through. But definitely you have to check out the last 2 segments. So, Kim, you have now made almost like a bargain with God, saying that, you know what, if you heal my body, I will be of service to you. What happens next?
And I want to kind of maybe backtrack on that, because I wanted to say, which I've said before, that God is sovereign. And I want to say that I was at a space where I was comfortable with whatever the outcome was. But what I meant by that is that I said to God, if, when I said heal my body, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to walk again. So meaning that if you would dispatch your miracles upon me, because I was already happy that I was alive, that I would use whatever you gave me to help other people. So yes, that's where we left off. We talked about the power of the spoken word, the power of faith,
yes,
and believing. And I believed. I had that faith. And that conversation I had with God was just saying to God that I'm thankful to you. I'm thankful that I'm alive, and I believe you're going to heal me. And I'm going to use my platform to help other people for the rest of my life. I'm going to do things that will help other people experience breakthrough and be of service. So yeah, it was interesting. Months later, I experienced a number of miraculous healings. As I had mentioned before, I had close to 200 stitches on the left side of my face. My face was torn open, quite bad. It was really, really bad. And I was scheduled for plastic surgery, of which I didn't have to have any. So I was miraculously healed. I never had any plastic surgery. I had close to 200 lacerations on my face. And God decided to heal my face. And my left eye had come out during the car accident. They had to bring a doctor, and Dr. Allen was flown in to do the operation. And he was able to place my eye back. But he says, Kim, fortunately, you're not going to be having a glass eye. You will be able to retain your eye, but it's very unlikely you'll be able to blink or move the eye left or right. The muscles were too badly damaged. And that was the second miracle. Months later, when I took the bandage off my eye and I opened my eye and I blinked, the doctor said, that's a miracle. He said, it's a miracle. And my eye was perfect. There was concerns about temporal paralysis. And I was walking within a month or so, and I had a broken nose, and my nose was, not a good nose. But God allowed my nose to look somewhat normal today. But I was healed. My face looks normal. You know what I mean?
More than.
Yeah,
it looks
normal. But it looked awful, and I didn't have to have any plastic surgery, and he healed my body, but he healed my mind and my soul, I wanted to share really quickly when I went to university. I went to Queen's University, and I was sitting in my dorm room in that first year of university, and I woke up one day, and I couldn't open my left eye. This is years later. 2 2 years later, I believe. So I couldn't open my left eye, and I felt it, and I had realized that that eye was gone. It had actually rolled back somewhere in my head, as awful as that sounds. I walked over to Kingston General Hospital. I said, I need to see a doctor. I need to go to emergency. I have a problem with my eye. I've had an accident a couple of years ago, and there's a very bad problem with my eye right now. And they looked at me like I was crazy, and I said, no, I need to go back to Sunnybrook. And then I was transported to Sunnybrook Hospital. There I met with a doctor from Seattle. He was a teaching doctor from Seattle, Dr. Gruss. Dr. Gruss is the first ever doctor in North America to do what's called a bone graft. And they said to me, Kim, you have lost your eye. It's in the back of your head. And they said, we're going to have to shave off your hair, and we're going to have to do a bone graft, and which means we're going to open your head from ear to ear and open your skull. And we're going to take out some bone, because underneath your skull, it's like Play-Doh. So we're going to take that out, and we're going to open up your bottom eyelid, and we're going to open up your entire face, and we're going to rebuild and reconstruct your face so your eye doesn't keep falling back, because this is going to keep happening. So either you do that or you have no eye. But they said there's 50% chance of brain damage and 50% chance you'll go blind. And my dad said that if it's 50-50, then have a half eye and don't be brain damaged. And my mom's like, God has been faithful. And my parents kind of bantered it out. And I love my dad. And my dad just didn't want me to have brain damage.
Of course.
And I get that, and I love you, Dad. But my mom said, no, we're not going to worry. We're going to go for it. And then within 24 hours, I was gurneyed up, and I was in the Sunnybrook Hospital, and I was having my hair shaved off again. And I was having my head opened up, and I was having the first ever bone graft in North America, in Canada.
That's crazy.
So then it was bad. I'm not going to lie to you, because I had about 500 staples closing my head, and no hair again, and a bad eye, and another couple of years walking around with a black eye. So I say that to say, I mean, you look at me now though, right? My eye is fine and I'm okay. But I say that to say is that, the bigger picture, the bigger thing I want to say is that we struggle through stuff. But I want to say to our audience, Simone, is that have faith in the process, have faith on the journey, and to realize that the battles that you face today is not going to determine your tomorrow. It was a tough time, but I'll tell you this though, man, did it ever develop a resilience in me, and it created a humility in me that at any moment you could, anything could happen.
Yes.
And we have to be greater than this physical body. We have to really work on our soul, because our soul is eternal. Our body is temporal, and it wasn't nice. I remember clearing up food courts. I remember coming back from the hospital. They let me out of the hospital. I was in there for a while. I was draining blood out of my head. I had staples. I had no hair. I looked awful. It was very hard. It was a very hard time. And I walked out with my mom, and I said, let's go get something to eat. And I remember walking in somewhere and clearing out the entire food court, because of how I looked, how awful I looked. And I want us to realize that all of us have faced some form of despair or anxiety, or whether it's loneliness, or whether it's feeling, afraid, or feeling like, why me? I want to encourage you today. I want to say to you, it's not over. Because I was going through it, and I had that cheerleader. I had that cheerleader, my mom, who said it's not over. And she said, you will be more beautiful. You will get through this. And I want to ask you, who is your cheerleader? And who do you cheerlead, and who do you push forward? Because that's what we have to do. We got to push each other forward. We have to tell each other, come on, let's go. You're not going to be stuck. You're going to get through.
You're not alone. I love it. I love it. So, Kim, there's a lot. We didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough time, but we did it. We got the story out. That's very important. Where can people find you? Because if you guys do not know, so she's a life coach as well as a speaker and a wellness coach.
Yes. I coach a lot of people in the gym, but I love to work with vegan athletes, because a lot of people want to be vegan. So that's my niche now, is helping people get through that journey and how to embrace that lifestyle. Okay, so where can they find you? Easiest place. My website, www.onlifestylewithkim.com. And her handles are in the bottom on the YouTube. anyone watching the YouTube, your handles are actually there. Yes, but I just wanted to make sure that you did get that out. Got it. Kim,
thank you. Viewers, thank you. For my last show, you were the best. It's a message that needs to get out, and people needed to hear the story. Thank you for sharing it with me again. Thank you for sharing it with everybody. Guys, I've had a wonderful time with all of you. Thank you so much for viewing. If you didn't get a chance to watch, now trust me, I'm going to share this out again. This will be on my Facebook. This will be my Instagram. It's going to be everywhere. The story will get out. Thank you so much, everybody. Continue to watch us. Actually, your show after this is Real Talk with Miss Alyssa. Please stay tuned for that. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Have a great day. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with the illustrious. Did I say it right? All right. The illustrious, voluptuous. Can you tell I'm a teacher? This is what I do. Allison Hines, and we are here having some actual discussion. And I was just saying, because if you were just joining us now, we've been talking about everything. We're actually just talking about motherhood and how that's been for you. And she's talking about how she had to lose weight after child. Listen, I've gone through all your pictures. I was like, all the ones where you're thick, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Bumper is round, perfect. Yep. She's too skinny here. I don't like this picture. So, I know you wanted to lose weight, but there's women like me who can't gain a pound. Right. Who just I'm honored, honestly.
You're good, you're good.
In my yard, them say my grandfather sound system. And then while growing up, the sound system name, merge with a virgin and thing we have links. And it named Night Flight, Night Flight. So we grew up around Night Flight, and that's how we get the microphone, and that's how we mix, and that's how we play the record.
I got them here. It's okay. I had to wait a little bit, but I got them here. Gentlemen, can you please introduce yourselves to the In the Now and TCN crew?
Blessed, give thanks, greetings, one and all. This is Lutan Fire. Enough love. I'm here for this Ganja Fest show, the biggest show in Canada for this year. Blessed.
Thank you. And the end, my
Yes, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie I Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks for being here, give thanks for the coming in, give thanks for having us, give thanks for bigging up the promoter, who prepare this thing and let it, present it, together, this Ganja Fest here. Very much mean is a good.
Morning, and I'm on my way to Jamaica. So, we're here.
We just arrived, guys. We're here.
We what?
We just arrived. We've just arrived in Jamaica.